Hey, everybody. How are you today? What a beautiful day in the Chicagoland area. And I'm sure it's beautiful wherever you are and wherever you are tuning in. Nisha's Network here, as long with Insightful Moments with Coach Nisha. That's our new tagline for our live today. And if you are watching, please, by all means, go ahead and share. And also, don't forget to go and subscribe to our Nisha's Network YouTube channel. Look for Nisha Stringfellow, Nisha's Network YouTube channel, and please subscribe and share. Okay, well, today I am very excited to sit down and have a conversation with none other than my beautiful sister, all the way in Naples, Florida, none other than the beautiful Narissa Eden. Hi, Narissa.
Hey, Sissy. Good afternoon. Good morning. So happy to see you. So glad to be
Yes,
here.
yes. I was gonna say that I only let Narissa call me sissy, so don't anybody else call me that, okay? Okay, that's just a Florida sisterly thing, okay? I tell her that all the time. Not because of anything in particular, but just because I always say it. But I'm so glad we have some time to sit down and talk today and just have a conversation. Lately, you guys, if you've been watching, we've been really talking about moms and mental health in the month of May. That's what we talked about. We're going to continue talking about mental health because it's just a really prevalent subject right now. But before we get into our conversation today, I would like Narissa to introduce herself to those who don't know her.
Awesome. Thank you again. Hello. My name is Narissa Eden, your Kingdom Wife champion, because of the original champ who lives inside of me, and that is God the Almighty. And I am, as Nisha said, in Southwest Florida. And I am here because my sissy, when she asks, we say yes. We come through, we pull up, and I'm excited to do that. I have been married for 25 years to my husband, Chris Eden, and we have four boys and one amazing, phenomenal, sweet, juicy, licious grandson named Oliver. I'm called to wives and wives in waiting that really want to make a change, make a difference, increase their marriage by tons, by boatloads. Bring it to a top tier level that God intended it to be. And I met Nisha because of marriages. So I love that it's come full circle, and that now I am a God ordained wife coach, and
Yes,
I'm just pleased to be, and I'm honored to be.
yes. Well, not only that, you being a wife and a mom, and what do you call yourself? Are you a grandma? Are you Gigi? Are you a Mimi?
So he doesn't talk yet,
Well,
but I
what
think
everybody gives themselves a title. So
I
what
know
is it?
that's so funny too, because I'm like waiting for him to tell me what he's gonna call me because he runs the world. No, but I think I'm going with Lela.
Lela. Okay.
Yeah, I think I'm going with Lela, which can really derive from a little bit of abuela, which is grandmother, grandma in Spanish.
Okay.
And then I love the letter L, although we know the letter N is phenomenal,
Right.
right?
It is.
So yeah, I think I'm going with Lela, and yeah.
Okay, Layla. Okay, well, thank you so much for sharing that. Well, I think it's been a little over 2 years, going on to 3 years that we've been connected. I will say that. I do believe that. And we became really, really great sisters and friends. And I don't take that lightly. God sent you in my life at a time where I needed confirmation about the next assignment in my life, and that was to speak to coaching on a different level, not just marriage coaching, but just even doing some life coaching and some healing. And you came alongside and was persistent for a while because we kept playing Instagram tag. And I say that only because when God has made connections, it literally it's gonna come to fruition. It may take a minute, but it doesn't matter. And whereas you were coming for one thing, connecting with me, I had needed something to be confirmed in my life as
Mhm.
well. And then us partnering just throughout the last, 3 years almost, with just trying to help marriages and transform. women and wives and husbands, and not even transform them, but walk alongside them as a coach.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I'm really, really grateful that that Clubhouse allowed us to connect,
Yeah.
and that you and your amazing husband, Wes, my brother, shout out to Wes, that you all had that 10-week reboot your marriage. I always call it reboot your marriage,
It
but
is.
Couple
It was
Life
a reboot to
Ministries,
marriage. It
it
was.
was that Zoom where Chris and I agreed to join you all. And that really started a very, very nice, that fostered a nice relationship between the
Yes,
four
it
of
did.
us.
Yes, it did.
And that was really helpful as well regarding, even listening to other wives speak about what seasons they were in. So I'm truly grateful for that, and I don't take it lightly either. So yes, I listen. It was definitely supposed to happen when it happened for the
Yeah.
both of us.
Yeah. Well, I want to just dive right into you. As you heard me say, we've been talking about mental health. We've been talking to moms, and we did, we didn't, May took on this very strange turn with all the scheduling and different things like that. And life just turned, but delayed is not denied. And so I really want to just talk about our topic today is kingdom wife and mental health. And the reason I say kingdom wife, because to be a wife, number one, you do need the Lord, number one, and you should have a kingdom mindset, but also mental health. So I want to just really kind of talk about to you, Narissa, and for you to address just the different seasons that women go through as wives, and even if you're not a wife, just as a woman in general, because Narissa is
Mhm.
not only a kingdom wife coach, but she's a life coach as well. And so really speaking to the seasons where stuff will come and go, but staying on track with your mental sanity,
Mhm.
and not losing it.
Absolutely. So it is. I'm so glad you started there because I want to give a shout out to one of my sister friends, my tall friend. I affectionately call her Jay Millie. She is Jennifer Jones from Sacramento, California, the west coast of the U.S. And when I turned 50 in February, she made me this shirt, which said Kingdom Wife Champion.
Oh,
Is the
nice.
Kingdom. And she went ahead and she's so creative and she's so amazing. And she took the time to put insert pictures from all my different seasons and walks of life in the word champion. She
Wow.
is truly one of the most creative people I've ever met. So this is a very special gift, and I wore this today on purpose. So thank you for starting there because we didn't discuss that. But yes, definitely, I realize now that God has equipped each and every one of us for every season we're ever walking through, even when it doesn't feel like it,
Yeah.
even when we don't know it or expect it. That same month, my birthday month, when I turned 50, um, we lost my father in law. He passed away. And that was, we knew he was declining in age, but it was still unexpected. And that entered us and kind of pushed us and thrusted us into a new season, which was a season now with the death, the loss of a parent. And one of the main seasons that I know God equipped me for, unbeknownst to me and my family, was that my mother-in-law now stays with us. And you kind of watch movies and you hear about things, and you might read books where you see the dynamics of generational living. um, but when it happens to you, you are like ready on stage, time to do what you've been preaching, teaching, learning, reading,
Yeah.
what God has inspired you to do. And all along the way, it's only God. Like I wake up every morning, I'm like, okay, God, how am I going to go about this day, and how are we going to handle this situation? Our boys, our adult boys, are home from college. One of them just flew in last night, and it's a full house, no pun intended. So each season, God will give you the whispers if you sit quiet and listen to see how you're going to handle the different situations. And then as a kingdom wife, it's really a matter of still putting God first always, dying to self, but as we've been talking about lately a lot in our C4 community, not neglecting yourself.
Yeah.
So it's a balance, and it takes your confirmations from God, your conversations with God
Yeah.
to help you through it.
Yeah. I was thinking about this. I know you recently, you and Chris, your amazing husband, my brother, became entrepreneurs and decided, both of you all, like at different seasons, God took you out of corporate or whatever,
Oh, yeah.
and He told you all launch out into the deep. And so, as a wife, being, having that security, and even when He told you to stop working, He shifted you from everything. What are some of the things that you kind of like did to just be like, not lose it? The fear factor, the faith factor, what are some of the things you actually literally had to implement in order to really kind of say, God, I'm gonna trust you every step of the way. And I
Mhm.
still gotta keep my family encouraged and be the mama, the friend, the coach, the everything. But still, like you said, taking care of yourself and your own mental sanity.
This is real simple. This isn't even like rocket science, but it was a matter of understanding that there were some things that I could control and there was a lot of things that I couldn't, Nisha. And giving those completely over to God. So I worked in corporate America for over 20 years in the hospitality and tourism business, hotels, convention centers. I wouldn't change that. That was truly a great foundation for me regarding customer service,
Yeah.
regarding listening to people's needs. And then the pandemic hit and he shifted me into ministry, and it was something that I did not necessarily see coming. My husband, who has entrepreneurship veins, okay, he is like, I always say, the smartest person I know, and is built for things that I am learning and gleaning from him.
Yeah.
Yeah, moving out to the west coast of Florida from the Palm Beaches, he started his own company, and what I do is I'm constantly there for anything that he would need, that is too much for his plate, and along with those that he has on his team. And I got to tell you, it's been inspiring to me. It's helped watching him be that entrepreneur that you're referring to, has helped me know that I could do it too, just in a different way, in a different capacity.
Yeah.
Um, so yes, I know that ultimately, had I been given the choice, I would have been like, no, entrepreneurship, no, that's not, you know. But God had different plans for us,
Yeah.
and He makes a way out of no way
Yeah.
every time, Niche,
Yeah.
every time.
Yeah.
So I'm grateful for that, and I'm grateful for understanding that there's things that I cannot control. So I don't, that fear that you asked about,
Mhm.
that reduces when I'm able to truly say, okay, God, I got to relinquish this to you and leave this at your feet because I can't do it in my own strength.
Yeah, but as so many people, well, it's saying it is easier said than done, right?
Right?
Like
You said that.
saying, I relinquish my fear, but I guess in a matter of speaking, like staying connected to communities. Like I talked to you yesterday, and I was having a meltdown, and it was a struggle for me to, it's like I don't think you was expecting that when I called you. We were supposed to be talking about today, and I just like, "Whoa." But having those safe places where you can actually take the time to allow your mental health to just release and not so much as complain, but to really give a perspective and say,
Mhm.
Lord, what do you want me to do with this? And He'll send the right person along. We meant for one conversation, but the another. Who are those in your community? Do they know who they
Mhm.
are, that are your safe places where you just let your hair down?
Yes. Real quick though, when you talked about connections right now, I was listening to your intro song. And can I tell you, I had to write down because I loved how it said, it's all about connecting. Connections make you feel alive.
Yeah.
That's what your intro jam says. And I was like, oh, yes. And they absolutely do. It makes me really, really glad that Jesus was so relational because that's how I'm built as well. And how, many people say every coach needs a coach. My coach, Tina Moore from Tina Moore Global, has allowed me to really fully understand and immerse myself in a safe space, and to help me grow, and to help me understand that perfection isn't the goal, but that if I could be better today than I was yesterday, that's progress and
Yeah.
that counts.
Yeah.
So I'm super grateful for her. And yes, those that are close to me, those safe spaces, know who they are.
Yeah.
And they know that I could call them with no hello, No, no, hey, how you doing? I could jump right into whatever it is that needs to be said or shared.
Or
Um,
they can feel you being off and saying what's going on.
that too, that too,
And
they
and
can.
then being open enough to be transparent enough to say, "No, today is not a really good day."
Right. And to also, help call me out and keep me accountable when it comes to certain things that I know I should be doing better, but I'm hoping to either, like I used to talk about that lumpy rug. Too
Yeah,
often people sweep things under the rug.
yeah,
And then for years, especially in the Caribbean where we're from, we end up having a really lumpy rug because you done swept so much stuff under there.
yeah,
um, it's it's very encouraging to know that someone will call you out in love
yeah,
and help keep you accountable in love, even right when we got started on this and what you shared with me. So I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful for those safe spaces that are here during all the seasons that we're in.
yeah. So I want to really kind of talk about. I know that you have faced some challenges along your journey, just with your own personal family and just raising kids and just having that as a whole. Um, what are some of the things that you've had to face as a mom?
Oh man. So there's two of them that come to mind. And I'm laughing because I always say two. I don't know why God always speaks to me in twos. But the first one, which he knew from the beginning, um, would be that that my husband and I were going to raise a son on the autism spectrum.
Mhm.
Um, that has most definitely made me a better mother, made me a better listener, made me understand just how diverse God creates his beautiful creatures, his masterpieces, and that he would handpick me to be the mom of this genius kid. You know, I have these other boys who I love to death too, but I always say Jaden is the ticket out the hood because he is so smart. He is the one. Um,
I love that.
listen, and then, and the other, I think, biggest thing that I've had to face as a mom, especially of my boys, is really wanting to see their dreams come true.
Okay.
So I didn't have many dreams as a little girl. My mom and dad can tell you, I kind of lived very like a rigid imagination, very didn't think outside the box too much. I almost had fear of dreaming in case out of disappointment, I didn't want
Yeah.
it to not happen. All that. Where my boys are full blown dreamers. Like they all have a passion, a path, a focus, a vision, a dream, much like their father. And then as their mom, wanting those dreams to come to pass, wanting them to manifest, wanting to, there have been times when God had to like sit me down and say, pipe down, daughter, I don't need your help
Yeah.
because I want to help their dreams come true. And I see myself oftentimes going to the Father in my prayers, saying, "Please allow my children's visions and dreams for their lives to really truly come to pass and materialize." Because you see the work ethic that they put into it, you see the talent, you see the potential, and it's inspiring to me. So one of the things as a mother that I've really had to God has helped cultivate a process in my mind is their steps, their vision, and each and every part of their season of their dream coming to pass and having some disappointments along the way when
Wow.
things don't turn out the way they wanted,
Yeah.
the way they planned, and seeing how they deal with that. And then being someone who can really come alongside them and help them understand that that's all part of the process, that
Yeah.
those disappointments, that they couldn't get to their dream without those disappointments.
Mhm. Wow. I guess we couldn't get to our dream without disappointments as well. I
That's
was
it.
thinking about that. I had a thought in my mind of just how um, the coping mechanisms of not being able to fix your children's problems. And me and you were talking about this yesterday about how we don't watch the news. No, you know, disrespect to anybody that does. But when you have a mercy gift or when you have the gift of intercession and you
Mm.
feel the weight of things that are pressing, like I might hear about your friend or you hear about my friend, you may never have touched them, but it grabs you
Oh yeah.
but you can't fix anything. You just have to learn to pray. And I know that that's what we have to do as moms, especially adult moms of adults, because it gets even harder the older that they get. Well, that was for me. So what do you say in terms of like that pricking of not really getting in the way God's way, like you said, but not trying to
Mm,
fix it and then overcompensating. I want to mention something about that, but I'll
mm,
ask you that question first, and then I'll talk about the overcompensation.
mm. If I wasn't where God has me in my faith, there's no way that I could fully understand that I can't fix it. There was a time when I know that I wasn't going to the Father for everything, and I was not in a place of active faith and trusting God deeper. And that was when I tried to do things within my own strength and in my control. And when that fails and failed, um, God allowed me to have some lessons learned from that. Being where I am today in my faith, much different than before, it allows me to be okay when things aren't, when I'm not able to fix it. Where before I would have perseverated on it so much so and just obsessed about it and then almost felt like a failure and taken that on, talking about carrying that heaviness.
Yeah.
Um, Now he brings me peace. He truly allows me to take my thoughts captive. He allows me to pray and to leave it in his hands and then to say, okay, God, how are you going to wow me today? What are you going to do to show me that you are that supernatural father that hears us and hears the prayers for our children?
Wow.
Yeah, if I didn't have the faith that I have now, there's no way that I could operate in a place and in a space where I can leave it up to him and know that I'm not called to fix everything. I'm not supposed to. It was never planned that way.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow, that's a Selah moment. Pause. You were not built to fix everything, and I understand that. I think that, though, when you are a person who is a builder, sometimes you look for the next way to pull for people to pull out of the
Mhm.
the 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 wreck that is it's almost like the demolition that is taking place. Well,
Mhm.
how can I help you start building, taking the blocks? And that might be a part of coaching too, right? You don't want to see people stay stuck in a place. You want to, encourage them or strengthen them, or especially your children,
Especially our children.
especially our children,
Come on.
but being transparent with them sometimes to say, you know what, I don't have what it takes, but I want to help you, but maybe this is not the timing. And that no is sometimes hard for kids to hear, especially adult
Mhm.
kids. But
Mhm.
yeah, that's a whole nother topic by itself. But just knowing that you have to trust God, like you said, He allows you to take that peace, allows you to take every thought captive, casting down imaginations and taking every thought. You just said that, and I'm like, that sounds like so easy, but
It
it's
does.
so not. And I
It
think
does.
that as I further this part, I want to speak to the relationships that you have with friends and sisterhood and family, where sometimes, tidal waves hit. And sometimes, and maybe that's not, I don't know. Maybe I should have never wrote a book about relationships, Narissa, because
Mm-mm.
feel like
No.
every relationship has been challenged,
Uh-uh.
in the areas of, Lord, what area do you want me to heal? Because it's a struggle. It's a struggle. And so to keep my mind at peace, yes, daily I have to cast down imaginations. How can you encourage people when all hell has
Come
broken
on.
loose? And I mean all hell has broken loose.
Mhm.
And you're in a broken state and you just can't figure it out.
I- So, like you said, some things are easier said than done or easy to hear. I am constantly reminding myself that God's thoughts are higher than my thoughts and that God's ways are higher than my ways. And one of the things,
How do
whether
you remind yourself before you do that? Just
yeah,
talk about what do you actually do to remind yourself. So you going about your day in the kitchen and you hear something that may have caused a little turmoil of
mhm.
try to disrupt. What do you literally do?
um, uh, the easy answer is get on my knees. God works in heavy repetition with me. So he will align some things and will show me some things that have nothing to do with anything, but everything to do with what I'm dealing with at that moment.
Wow.
Whether it be The other day I was driving and I saw not one, but two stop signs. And I thought, sometimes I'm God will really and truly intentionally show up so that I can understand that he hasn't forgotten about whatever it is that I'm dealing with, about reminding me that my limited finite thoughts can't even to compare or touch that his thoughts are higher than my thoughts and that his ways are higher than my ways. So to answer your question, um, oftentimes music, I will put on mute. That's a tangible thing that
Yes.
helps me. The lyrics, the beat, the
Yeah.
song, the melody. He'll speak to me through music so very often and give me that reminder.
Yes.
Sometimes it's more gentle than others, um, but he's just that much in the details. It's no accident that we're having this conversation today, Nisha, because just last night I was on a walk with Isaiah, and there were some things that he was bringing to my attention, and in my flesh I wanted to like respond a certain way, and God said, no, no, you're going to listen, you're going to hear what he's saying, and you're going to remember to bring this back to me.
Mm.
um, I want to tell you one thing though, as far as the demolition piece and whatever feelings I don't ever want you to regret reading that book. Like I said, Jesus was all about relationships.
Yeah.
One of the things that brought me peace was to understand there is no perfect church. There is no perfect family. There's no perfect sisterhood. There's no perfect marriage. It's never going to be without trials and troubles. It's never going to be free from complete stress. It's a matter of learning to manage it,
Yeah.
to use emotional intelligence to really take some pauses and deep breaths and say, okay, all right, what is it that you want me to learn from this? And do you want me to shut up right now or do you want me to speak on this? Um, and just understanding that as much as you want to be understood, even Jesus wasn't always understood.
Yeah. Wow. That's now that part. How do we expect to be understood if Jesus wasn't even understood?
He was so misunderstood. I remember when I was a little girl and we lived in New Jersey, and I think I've told you this story before, that my parents, they took a vacation and they went to the Poconos one weekend, and they left me with my I think it was Titi Raisa or Tia Elena, and they babysat us. And when my mom got back, I was like, yo, what'd you bring me? What'd you bring me? And she brought me this T-shirt that said, don't try to understand me, just love me. And at the time, I was like, yeah, man, oh my gosh, that's what I need. Because, I felt like I was so complex. I was difficult to understand. And I had to draw from Jesus. I had to draw from the fact and the peace that he was perfect, yet he was misunderstood. He was blameless, yet he was talked about. He was without sin, yet there were rumors about him. So like, what are we thinking here, So
Oh, that is so, so, so good. I told you
mm,
this was gonna go by too fast. My goodness. We gotta do a part 2. What I wanna know is, what do you want people to know about their mental health? And I'm
mm,
specifically speaking to women. But as we
mhm.
bring this to a close, our conversation today, like, what do you want women to know? What do you want me to know?
I got 4 words for you.
Okay.
The bounce back is real.
Yes.
And in my Dr. Renee voice, he is no respecter of person.
Yes.
So with mental health, I think too often as humans, we go into stages as women, as wives, as mothers, as sisters. Sometimes we go into stages where we feel like, oh my gosh, this is the end all be all. And it's not. We were born to bounce back. We are meant to bounce back. We were created to fall, brush our shoulders, our knees off, dust, brush the dust off and get back up and try again. And sometimes try differently and sometimes try the same way, but that it's not, that it doesn't dictate that your mind will always be that state that it is, or that your situation and circumstances will always be in a negative light if that's the season you're in. That you were created to bounce back. That
Yeah.
I love it when I listen to sports because they use that word so often in sports, and I realize that there's a reason for that. The only way we'll truly ever champion anything is understanding that we have to fall and get back up, that we have to bounce back. And we can, we just have to believe that we can.
Yes, yes. Well, you guys, if you are listening today, just know the bounce back is real. And I
Mm.
love that because I do know that I am not a person that will stay stuck. I will get up and I will bounce back. And I love that. And this is Narissa, our sister, Kingdom Wife Champion Coach. And she's a life coach and a wife coach. And I just think you all need to connect with her because, and I don't say I think, I know you need to connect with her.
Mm.
Sometimes we feel alone. And what I love about you is that you have always been intentional about if I'm asking you to pray for someone or whatever, you're
Mhm.
like, make sure you let them connect with me if possible. And, to me, that's where the connections are made so people can be restored. It's not always about the dollar amount. It's about the part where God will take care of you if you take care of his people. Now,
Come
business is
on.
real, just like the
Yeah.
bounce back is real.
Yes.
Business is real,
The
but
impact.
right, but the God will send specific people your way to be impacted by his servant leaders.
Amen.
So I just want to say thank you for today because this was so rich, and I think we need to do a part two. But thank you for sharing today.
Oh, Sissy, it is my pleasure. I thank you for your obedience and for moving Nisha's network to a whole nother level. I'm so excited what God has for you. And I thank you. I thank you for this conversation. We would have had it, listen, recorded or not recorded. This would
Right.
have been our conversation.
That's what everybody
Oh, wait, one more thing, one more thing. Tonight, go Miami Heat.
Oh, Lord. So you're not voting for Denver?
You know. No, it might. It's going to be tough. It's not going to be easy, but I'm believing that they'll bounce back too.
Okay, well, let me tell you, only reason I know I overheard Wes talking to someone and saying, let's see if Denver brings it back in or something like that. But I'm like, I didn't know who was playing. So I'm sorry, I'm not a sporty girl,
Is
but
West cheering? Is West rooting for Denver
I
Nuggets?
don't know. Don't quote me on
I'm gonna
that.
need you to find
But
out.
I'm almost positive that it would not be Miami. But I don't know. I don't know. Don't
I
don't
mean,
quote me
Denver.
on
Okay, so Denver is a very strong team, and they are a very talented team.
that. Okay.
So it's going to take some real strategy for Miami to come through. But there's some people that are rooting and believing that they can do it, even though they're
Okay.
the
Well,
underdog. They're
Miami
the
Heat.
underdog.
Miami Heat, bring the heat.
They're like the David. Look, they're the underdog. We got five stones. We got five smooth
Come
stones.
on. Okay, girl. Well, thank you so much. If you all have joined
Thank
us
you.
again, subscribe to our YouTube channel, Nisha's Network YouTube channel. And we'll be back at another time with my sissy, none other than the Narissa Eden. We love you, girl. And
I
we'll
love
talk to you guys soon, okay? All
All
right.
right.
Have a great day, everybody.
Mhm.